Hey everyone, really quick before I begin my video, I just wanted to let you guys know or give you guys an updated deck list profile. I made two key changes in this deck. So I ended up taking away one of my soul drains. I had it at 2. I'm switching it to 1 because I really believe in probability, and I feel like the probability of me coming across decks that utilize their graveyard in like an oppressive way isn't too big right now. But what is banishing, so Kashtira is really up there, and there's like a few other key decks that do like to banish, which is kind of annoying, especially if you're running one Lovely. So I ended up increasing Lovely to 2. I mean, it does, like, the trade-off is that you get an extra brick, so if you end up pulling Lovely, there's, not much you can do with her in hand. But at least it gives you that extra safety, because Lovely is an extremely powerful card with, the synergy coming from Big Welcome. So I really feel like she's that valuable in this deck to where I need to run her at 2 to at least give myself an additional safety net. So that's, yeah, those are the only two changes I ended up making to this deck. And now, without further ado, let's actually get into the real video. What's going on, everybody? This is Rome coming at you with the next video in the series. So I went through gold and I made it into just a super mash of a video. I'm gonna try to aim for the same when it comes to my platinum run. So I already ripped right through platinum 5. So without further ado, actually, I even look at this. So like the first replay is actually kind of hilarious. I mean, what a way to start, right? I mean, I'm sure he was in for a world of a time when he realized what deck he was playing against. So this game was, obviously you see with the 12 turns, it was a battle of attrition, but he eventually got really annoyed and just called it. So first opening hand, he decides to go into so I go Pot of Extravagance, he immediately ashes, and this really set me up because after this I had absolutely nothing worth having. It was kind of annoying. So I end up playing the Maxi to try to see if I can maybe get a few cards out of his summons. He ends up aiming, so it looks like he was pushing here. Like, you see that he ends up throwing 2 level 8s. That was my cue to kick one back just to make sure, because it looked like he was aiming to XC summon with the 2 level 8s. So a good good strategical move, I'd say. I ended up evenly matching his other card just to make sure. Figured if I had it, might as well use it. Then I set for Dogmatica, literally my only card in my hand. And again, have to be strategic, have to hold it. And then I get Maxi again, so I'm sure he was tilted. Oh, nope, actually, just kidding. He actually got an Ash Blossom for this. So it's actually kind of hysterical. So he ends up using his Ash to stop that from happening. So I end up Dogmatica, hitting him with the Dogmatica here, and I end up entising both of his cards out. Just hoping, yeah, sure enough. Like, I was hoping that that was his only play, and it looks like my bluff worked. So I get Lord of the Heavenly. There's nothing I could do with that at all, because I have no damn set trap cards. It's like, like this game is just like pulling teeth. So now I get a Solemn, and that's my way out. I mean, that was 100% my way out. I was like, alright, well, I'm just going to use the Solemn next chance I get to at least get a body on the field. So he goes to attack me. And I was really sad because I was hoping he would do something, and that he finally does something, get that Solemn going just to get Lord of the Heavenly out. And then I end up setting, take a wild guess at what card I'm going to set here. So I drop it. Then I could finally start going into my Labyrinth engine with Big Welcome Labyrinth. So now next turn rolls around. Fortuitous top deck, Lady Labyrinth. He ends up Forbidden Dropletting me, which, again, whatever, because then I end up hitting him with a Big Welcome, and I end up pulling Ariana away. This is probably another instance here, so if you see where, okay, so I have this, I pull that, but then what was kind of interesting here is that it should have went, like, it literally instead went to Lovely, which I did not understand, because it looked like he aimed for Ariana, and now, like, Lovely got hit somehow, which was a little unfortunate. So yeah, again, I tried to pull to do more stuff, and I couldn't do anything. So that kind of slowed me down. I really don't understand how that mechanic worked. Then I end up hitting and losing my Heavenly Prison. So now I'm just hoping that he doesn't have anything to really play through. But then I remembered to myself, I was like, wait, I just used Big Welcome. I could flip him and throw his ass away. And that's exactly what I did. But then I also get the effect of Lovely, and I smack that card away. Now he right Gekis me in defiance. Like, this is retaliation for sure. He's like, man, this piece of shit. So he right Geki'd me. But then, luckily, I still have Ariana. So I said, Ariana, get my Big Welcome. Now I have a Welcome and a Big Welcome. Attack him. Now I just wait to see what his turn turns out to be. At this point, he has Galaxy Soldier. He throws away. He sets another card. He's setting up for his next turn. I waited out a little bit just to see what he tries to do, and then try to pull the hammer, pull the rug out from under him at the right moment. So yeah, I literally welcomed and Big Welcome. The reason I did it reverse this time is because I was aiming to grab a lady, pop his card, and then Big Welcome I was planning to pull the Ariana out for the Lovely again. So I did it reverse this time with an actual purpose. So now I pop his card, and then he's like, I had enough of this. It was just like, but it was crazy. I really built from nothing, and then I was able to slowly, again, build resources. Like, it was just such a rough beginning, but again, like, all it takes is one card used at the right time, and that's what I did for, like, maybe 2 or 3 different turns on that first, that first duel there. So now going into this next one, this one's a little bit quicker. I actually get a pretty, well, semi-advantageous hand. Not like the most advantageous, but I think if I remember this one he just gets plain pissed off because see here, he ends up going for a fusion. Or actually not yet, he's going to go for a fusion. But I end up throwing Lady out first. So now this mass change. There's one where this is where he uses Fusion Destiny, and then I call Dimensional to make sure he doesn't try any bullshit. And then he has to pass, or actually he still tries to continue to play, but I Solemn Strike this last card, hoping this is the remainder of his plays. Then he ends up pulling 2 cards. He ends up getting this card out, and that's where he ends his turn. So I tried to slow him down. He still was able to play up to a certain point, but he's gonna get really annoyed here because, like, I take his card away, then I end up having another dimensional that I set there, and I just see, look at this. He gets Miracle Fusion. I flip Dimensional Barrier again for Fusion, and he's like, he said enough was enough. He's like, what kind of bullshit is this? It was like Dimensional followed by another Dimensional. This game was like extremely irritating. The way I lose to this had to be the most, like, there's many different win conditions in this game. This had to be probably ranked one of the lowest or the highest in frustration. Look at how he does this. This is so crazy. I mean, this is really just for, like, comedy, like, not even joking, because you're not going to learn very much out of this game here. So I set all my traps down, and I actually have a pretty good set of traps. So he has a Punk deck. I go Max C. Then he ends up using, there's one card that he pulls that you're going to see. This one, Card Destruction. So he has Card Destruction, and he ends up, like, making us recycle our cards. But he just keeps spamming. Like, he spams it the whole time. And I'm trying to get him to stop playing, and he still just has unlimited plays, which is so strange. And you're gonna see, like, as time goes on, like, I end up amassing probably like 20 cards or something obnoxious. So he just keeps playing and playing and playing, but he's like, it's weird. He's like using a tier limit. Like, he has a tier limit package, obviously, along with Punk, but the way that he's playing, he just keeps, like, banishing cards, but it's like he keeps recycling things in and out of the graveyard. It just seems like he had, like, infinite moves. And I'm trying my best, so I'm drawing cards, and I'm hoping that I could draw a card that could either interrupt him or just slow him down, because he just keeps freaking playing. So you see at this point that I have, like, a ton of cards. And I'm trying to think at what would be the best opportunity to do anything. So he just keeps going and going and going. So now I sort of start playing, like I'm trying to play a little bit just to see if I can like start some of this crap, or you know, just to try to interrupt him in some facet, because I still don't even know what his end goal is here, because he just keeps like spamming. But then you see he gets card destruction. Look at what he does with this cheating card destruction. Game. I ran out of cards. That was literally the game. Like, that was his whole plan. Just spam the shit out of everything with, like, his bullshit Tearlaments and, like, everything. Ended up decking me out, like, in the most inadvertent way. So dumb. So, yes, I mean, sometimes you get those losses where you're just like, well, you know, just freaking go right back to the drawing board and just start all over again. So this one, pretty decent hand, as you could see. So I get Ariana, I get the Labyrinth cards, like I get protection of my back row. Really good setup. Or, I mean, this is like probably the most ideal beginning setup I could possibly get. So now, Kashtir Fenrir. So this had to be the most satisfying sequence of events. So I pull back, I use Labyrinth to bust his ass, so I know that he can't use his card effect because it's not a monster effect. And then I get to blast whatever other card in there. So now I go to Max C, just to make sure, like, because I know that he's probably going to start spamming like a psycho. And he just, yeah, once he saw the Maxi, he knew it was over. So another easy one. It's almost like I had the best first, honestly. Like, that first match against Labyrinth was wild. Like, it was just back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. But, I mean, we'll see, like, these next two, if these next two are, you know, as, you know, high-level quality. We're going to find out. So I end up throwing Solem goes in and welcome. Now, this is a little less than ideal. At least I still have a little bit of playing, you know, playing space. So I get goes in, flip it. Then I end up pulling Lady during, like, the battle phase just to try to protect myself. Then I get Ariana, set Ariana up for next turn. Figured why not. But then he does some BS here. Like, I kind of remember this turn. Watch what he ends up doing. I was like, wow. So I end up setting my cards up, and then I figured I would just attack him. He ends up using this bullshit card that ends up increasing the attack power of whatever card it targets. So I ended up losing my Lady in that fashion. So now, at this point, like, I don't know why he's attacked. That confused me. So immediately I kind of panicked, because I didn't know if he had another card he was going to throw into the graveyard and do some bullshit. So I end up taking Lady, then Lovely, pulling back Ariana. Then I end up popping, I think I pop a random card in his hand if I remember right. Yeah, I pop a random card because I had a feeling. I was like, there's no way he's going to have two cards, and I'd rather take my chances again. I figured why not. So I end up pulling the big welcome back, get Ariana back, get Labyrinth here. And then I just go and attack. And I attack with the lowest monster this time, just in case. Then I was able to attack with the next two monsters. But then he just called it from there. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these games are won pretty early. Like, I mean, if you just set up correctly and just pull the right levers at the right times, really. Because, I mean, even in that one, like, I was just making all these little, like, quick moves just to make sure I can control the board, and then he just knew that there was nothing following it. This is another silly one where, like, I just, like, look at this draw. Like, so I get the Labyrinth, all of these cards. I mean, there's not much I can do, so what I had to do is I had to just bide my time, use these traps at the right moments to make sure that I'm in a good spot. But then it doesn't even, it literally didn't even get that far. I mean, I was like ready. I was like just waiting. I was like, all right, at what point am I going to turn the lever or do something like to just slow him down? And I guess he must have small world in the wrong direction, and then he just called it. So that's, all right, well, that's Platinum 5. We're going to cut right into Platinum 4 in just a minute. All right, guys, let's continue with number 4, or Platinum 4. This is going to be pretty quick and easy. I'm going to be honest with you. Alright, so this one is actually a pretty interesting video, or more like an interesting match. This one's actually against a fellow Labyrinth deck, and there's a lot of cool interactions that do happen here. So, first things first, I run the Pot of Extravagance just to make sure that there's no other card in his hand. Maybe, let's say that's an Ash or something. I do get 2 cards. I do go and evenly him, just to ensure that I can stop him. I do Maxi in addition as well, just because I saw he big welcomed, so he's going to end up special summoning something. So I figured I'd get a free draw out of it, because usually these decks kind of draw one at a time anyway. So he ends up hitting his own Labyrinth for whatever weird-ass reason, and then he gets Lovely. He does end up picking a card out of my hand at random. The card that he picks I can't recall, but it wasn't anything that truly crippled me too badly. Oh, he ends up hitting my Lovely. Lovely hit the Lovely. Funny. So then I end up dropping Labyrinth, and I end up dropping these 2 cards. He ends up going with his furniture bullshit. So the key is to try to get that welcome off the field if I have a chance to. So he ends up big welcoming. I couldn't get it out in time, but I do welcome Labyrinth. And then he ends up ashing me, which is kind of annoying. So then I took this opportunity to say fuck you and dogmatic at him after the fact. So at this point, I win this exchange because at least I get Bucephalus out there, so then that gives me a free draw. He ends up big welcoming, but then he had to pull it away, so he couldn't, like, I had to get that, let me pause for a second just to explain. So I had to get that card off of the field, because if he big welcomed, then he would be able to, like, take a card and then pull a card, and then there'd still be a card on the field. So he clearing out that Lovely was really powerful in this sequence, because then what happens is with that big welcome, I think he attempted to try to get, Ariana on the field and pull back the Lovely, but being that I took Lovely off of the field, he ended up just getting screwed because they put the Ariana and then back, and now he literally has an open board. So now with this Labyrinth, I took advantage. So I ended up taking advantage with the, the Bucephalus, like I told you, through the Garura, got the free draw. But then I also took advantage of Labyrinth here, and I ended up pulling Lovely back out from the field because it got destroyed, so I still got it back. So there's a ton of shit happening here. Like, I'm hoping you can keep up. So, like, being that I used all of these traps, like, I used all these traps, that allowed Labyrinth to give me a free summon from the graveyard, and that's how I got Lovely out here. Like I said, a ton of shit happening, but it looks like I'm working ahead of him. They end up using Ariana anyway because he was able to summon her, and he ended up, he's comboing, doing what he has to do. Now he ends up getting Lady, Ariana, and 2 spell cards. So now I end up taking advantage of pulling Lovely. I end up pulling evenly just in case like things fall through. And then I get Dimensional, but I think Dimensional was just a decoy. But then he already quit. I guess he realized that I had enough material and enough firepower, and he just said enough was enough. But as I was, to finish my sentence, like I was creating more fodder. So like with that Dimensional, I could have just used it, whatever, and threw it into the graveyard. And then from there, I could have easily just got another summon from the graveyard if anything goes into the graveyard. So you just gotta constantly keep thinking steps ahead of your opponent. This loss, I don't quite remember. I'm just gonna play through it just because, you gotta celebrate your wins and learn from your losses. So let's see how much fun this one was. So Pot of Prosperity, he ends up ashing me. That was awesome. Was not prepared for that. I do end up getting Labyrinth and Lord of the Heavenly here. So Lord of the Heavenly to protect the back row, Labyrinth just to set up for what's coming. I get the Cashier the fuck out of there because I hate that card. And then I took and used Bucephalus to take advantage and get that free draw from Garura, and threw Lord of the Heavenly onto the field. So now I ended up grabbing Dimensional Barrier because I didn't know if it was a Kashtira deck or just, I was just preparing ahead just to be safe. See, look at that, Kashtira. So, like, and then, so I end up big welcoming into Lovely to start popping random cards. I figured this is a continuous spell, so I'll take this out of there and then just rip one of his cards out of his hand. That'll further cripple him. So now he's down to nothing. Oh my god, I'm starting to slowly remember this game. This guy just uses Tier Element to just fucking cycle everything, and he just kept endless. It was just like an endless turn. I think it's actually happening now, I'm gonna be honest with you. So I misplay one time really badly here. So he ends up throwing away the Dimensional, which pissed me the fuck off, because this was, like, I just didn't, execute it. I think it's that, the Dimensional that I set probably just wasn't able to, move into the next turn to really use it. So he attacks me twice here. So now I end up doing it again, you know, Lord of the Heavenly, Protect Rivalry, and Solemn. So now this is tricky because I had to play very carefully. So I had Rivalry in order to throw away the Tier Mixtira, because they're both different types, so that worked to my benefit. But here, I had to be very, like, strategic, because, and see, that's where I fucked up, because, like, I had to use Solemn at the right time. I ended up using it on a card in the graveyard, but you're gonna see what happens here, which thoroughly pisses me off. So Lord of the Heavenly, he ends up negating and destroying this, and that was, like, my only play, or my only defense, and he ended up stopping me. And that was game. Then he just ends up going into his infinite combo, and oh, actually not even. He just attacks me in this game. I thought he was gonna show off a bit, but that was the game. So yeah, that really crippled me. Like, if I would have waited until he used his if he would, like, so if I would have Lord of the Heavenly, then he would have used that effect, and then I would have Solemned that might have bought me time, but it just really, that was just bad play. Like, that was such a misplay, that Solemn. If I would have just waited an extra second and protected that stupid Lord of the Heavenly, probably would have been a different game. So yeah, started off strong, fucked up, and sometimes all it takes is one play to lose the game. So now, fucking take a wild guess. Another Labyrinth deck. So this is gonna be another interesting one. So I evenly, again, just to try to take out some of those traps off the field, because the thing is that, like, Labyrinth doesn't do well into banishes. So if you just keep banishing all of their cards, then that gives them less ammunition. So I end up throwing away all of his traps. He keeps Ariana, and then he ends up taking a Lady. So now it's my turn. I just set and pass. So now Labyrinth is on the field right now, but it's not protected because there's no set traps. There's Labyrinth here. Now I take advantage. I'm trying to figure out how I play this. We'll find out as it goes. So now they set this big welcome. So that's a problem. So now Ariana... I use Ariana, and then I big welcome this, so that's how I play this. So check this out. So I ended up Arianaing right away with the welcome, and then I end up big welcoming Lovely onto the field and pulling Ariana away, but instead of randomly ripping cards out of the hand, I take Lovely and throw away this big welcome. So now he, in retaliation, Harpy's Feather Dust my ass. I wanted to Dimensional Barrier Xyz. I ended up misplaying here because I didn't know if maybe they would have tried to, like, set an Xyz somehow, but it didn't matter. So it hits me with Lady, hits me with Ariana. Because that's about the only thing these guys can do is Xyz summons. There's really not going to be any fusions. So, Pot of Extravagance. I know he doesn't have anything in his hand, so I get that for free. Don't get shit. I get Pot of Duality. I do it one more time just to see if I get anything useful. Solemn Judgment is very useful because they use traps, so I can have that as a safety net. I end up getting Labyrinth. I end up getting Rihanna. Pull the big welcome. Now I'm locked and loaded for next turn. So he goes to attack me, I go into big welcome, he goes and sets up a trap, you know, to set on the field to protect himself, and he ends up throwing Lady Labyrinth in defense mode as well. So my play here, oh, and he also gets Eradicator, that would be extremely bad. So I immediately try to see if I can get rid of one of his monsters here, so that way I can, okay, well actually better yet, I just get rid of Eradicator. And then after that, I get rid of one of his monsters, I'm pretty sure. Because I remembered I didn't want more than you know, more than what was required on his field. Yeah, so I end up dropping Lady Labyrinth here. The attacking one. Let me pause for a second just to explain what I did here. So he ended up having an attack lady and a defense lady. The defense lady, he can't switch to attack, so I ended up taking out the attacking monster, and then he couldn't attack over this lovely. So that was also very strategic. Like, I didn't, you know, if I would have took this out, then I would have lost his card. But I took this out and left these two on the field to try to take him out for the next turn. But now, if you look, I did get an Eradicator myself. I end up resurrecting the big welcome, but then he ends up throwing back his Ariana, which confused the shit out of me. I thought he would have gotten rid of my card, so that was kind of strange. So then I end up welcome labyrinthing over it and getting Lady on the field, and then I use that opportunity to pop the other Lady that he has with you know, the field spell. So now I turn around and use Lovely to pop his card, or you know, to rip his card out of the hand. So now he has, so that's what I do. So I end up trying to pick the random card, but then it ends up taking Chandelier, which annoyed me. I was hoping to get the other card, but then I just continue. So I use this, I use, what do you call it, Big Welcome to throw this card back into the hand, so that way I can attack him, you know, just wide open board, and then I just set up the remaining cards. So now he sets Welcome Labyrinth, which doesn't exactly matter. I don't care about that card. And then I attack him to near 0, but now I have, like, just, I mean, seriously, my resources way more than his. So he ends up welcoming, I end up using the Eradicator because I had more material than him and resources, so I'm going to take traps away from him, and then I'm going to big welcome and pull away Ariana, probably for another lovely. Yep, sure enough. So this way, then I end up going for the Labyrinth spell. Eradicator gets rid of both of his traps, and he probably scoops here because that's all he's got. Or actually, no, he still sticks around randomly. So he's got Lovely here. And then now, I guess all the other plays continue. Yeah, see, that's when he quit. Because then all of my other effects went off after the previous effects. I was going to pop his Lovely and then just win the game. So yeah, as you can see, well, this loss, I'm trying to remember. I think... Oh, okay, I remember this one. Okay, so this game, like this loss, I disconnected again. This one was a really annoying match. Like, it was decided by one failed effect that went off. So like everything went well. I had Lady on the field, and then Lady, like, I ended up using kind of like how, like, I'll have like a fodder. So for instance, like I had Dimensional Barrier and it wasn't really used in any way. I ended up flipping it to throw it away to try to have Lady grab another trap, but the effect didn't go off, and I read every card and there was just no reason that it shouldn't have went off, and that was literally the deciding factor, because I ended up losing that trap. My Lady was exposed, he popped the Lady, and then I just had no board. Like, he had a what the heck is it? Spiral. He had a Spiral deck. So the Spiral, he just kept like cycling my cards through, and he kept just like kind of determining which cards I kept drawing, and it was a bad time, you know. But if I would have had that safety net of getting another set card, you know, being able to pull a trap away, I would have had Lady protected, because he was having a really tough time trying to get Lady off the field, being that it was like untargetable and unable to be destroyed. So, you know, again, yeah, things happen, but that was one play where I just could not figure out why I couldn't use it. So now going into this one, this one I think I played. Oh, never mind. Okay, I remember this one now. So yeah, this one I misplayed, but luckily I was able to recover. I was kind of annoyed. So, so this Nash Knight, if you don't know what he does is he grabs material. So he'll grab one of his material, and then he'll take one of your monsters and use that as material. So I have Lady here, and I'm thinking she's untargetable and like can't be, you know, destroyed by effects. He had other plans, and they'd be yanking fucking Lady, and I was like, ha! I was like, awesome, good to know that he could do that. So that drove me crazy. So immediately he got compulsed the fuck out of here. I was like, oh, you want to play? You want to play around? Well, fucking go back to your extra deck. So at this point, he ends up setting up with 3 monsters. I dimensional barrier him because I saw the 2 level 4s, so I was making sure he didn't Xe summon because he already Xe summoned previously. And then I end up using Lady Labyrinth's effect to just put him on the field. He Nightmare Unicorn sends my shit right back to the deck, which was very unfortunate. So I still have I have 2 Evenlies now, but I had an Evenly, so I figured, fuck it, I'll just throw his shit away. He keeps Nightmare Unicorn. I have Big Welcome. I end up just throwing another lady. Like, I mean, that's all I really have is that little nifty trick where I can just take lady, summon her, pull her back, and then just drop her on the field. So I did it again. And he quits. I guess he figured he just didn't have any material to follow up with because his resources were low. He only had like 1 or 2 cards, and he figured he probably just couldn't mount any kind of resistance or offense. So last replay in the sequence for Platinum 4 was actually a bit of an easy one. I was actually a little bit surprised at how, because you know the freaking promotions always turn out to be like barn burners, but this one was actually pretty simple. So, but you know what it is? Like, look at this. So I already have like the most ideal hand. Oh, that's what happened. I remember now. So look at this crap. Okay, so I have Ariana and I have a ton of good cards or good trap cards that I can follow up with, and I have Labyrinth. This is like they really gifted me this game already with like the draw that I had, which is fine. But this dumbass ended up droll and locking on the wrong turn. Like he droll and locked now when I wasn't going to use any of my traps, so he misplayed horribly here. So then next turn rolls around and he just realized what a dumbass he was and he quit. I mean, he really was just like, he fucking droll and locked her. I was like, wait, I was so confused when I saw that. I was like, wait, I was like, is this like, you know, because like dimensional shifter, like you have like 2 turns or how many ever turns. So I was like, is Droll and Lockbird multi-turned and he just did it preemptively to make sure I didn't do anything? And then I read the card and I was like, wait, no, this is only a 1-turn deal. Next turn rolls around, he just quit. I was crazy. I was like, what the hell? So yes, that was my promotion into Plat 3. So yeah, pretty awesome, you know, pretty awesome few games.